Have you ever felt chills run up your spine and thought, I'm not alone? Or suddenly known someone was watching you before you ever turned around? Today, we're unpacking what's actually happening in your body in those moments and how to tell the difference between fear, trauma, and intuition. Sometimes the hardest part of noticing more isn't what you notice, it's how your body reacts when you do. Welcome back to More Than We See. Today we're talking about something that shows up almost immediately once intuition starts feeling more present. That moment when fear, excitement, and awareness all feel tangled together in your body. Have you ever thought, why does that feel so intense? Or was that intuition? Or am I being anxious? Or is it fear? This conversation's for you. And right off the top, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you, and nothing needs to be figured out just yet. Before we go any further, though, let's slow this down. We're not asking to relive anything or interpret anything that you've already experienced. And you don't need to decide what any of this means right now. And you can listen to this while you're doing something else. Just let it be that steady conversation that you can come back to. This episode is not about eliminating fear, and it's not about activating intuition. It's about understanding what your body is doing so it doesn't take the wheel when you have one of these experiences. And we have them all the time. It's one of the most common experiences that people have. You notice something like a feeling or a sense or a shift, and your body reacts fast. Your heart speeds up, your breath changes, your stomach tightens, and almost immediately your mind is going to jump in. Was that fear? Is that intuition? Is that something I should pay attention to? Sometimes this can happen after a jump scare, a friend being silly, or a scary movie or a loud noise, a sudden realization. Sometimes it happens during a first intuitive moment or a moment that just felt off, any intuitive moment, because the body reacts strongly. The experience feels important, but intensity is not really what it's all about. So here's something really important to kind of understand. Your body does not distinguish between fear and intuition the way your mind wants it to. Both enter through the same system. They both involve a heightened awareness, an increased alertness, a sense of something is happening here. From the nervous system's perspective, novelty is enough to create an activation, like a new awareness or a new perception or a new sensation. The body's job is not to interpret meaning. It is to keep you safe and to keep you alert. So when intuition shows up in a way that's unfamiliar, the body's going to respond with intensity, not because there's something necessarily wrong, but because something is new. Intensity does not equal importance. Sensation does not equal instruction. If this feels abstract, let's get concrete and jump a little into what this is actually doing in your body, how you might experience this, so we can get down on that understanding. So you know that feeling when you suddenly turn around because you swear someone is looking at you. Most people will interpret this as a psychic feeling, and sometimes it is intuition, but there's also a very real biological system behind it. Your brain is constantly scanning for gaze directions. Humans are wired to detect eyes. We have a specialized neural pathway, especially in the superior temporal sulcus, that light up when someone gazes at you. And it happens fast, faster than our conscious thought. So sometimes you feel watched because your peripheral vision picked up a micro movement, or your auditory system registered a subtle change in sound behind you, or your pattern recognition system noticed something is slightly out of place. Your body processes that before your thinking brain can catch up. And that doesn't make it necessarily mystical. It means your nervous system is fast, on point. So let's talk about chills too, the goosebumps or the shivers, that wave that moves up your spine. There's actually a term for this. It's called frisson. It's the same physiological response that happens when music moves you deeply, or something feels meaningful, or you experience an awe, or the system detects a sudden emotional shift. It's tied to a dopamine release and also automatic nervous response. It's that fight or flight feeling. Your hair literally stands up because of a tiny muscle contraction at the base of each follicle. It's an old survival reflex, originally meant to make mammals appear larger when they're threatened. So chills don't automatically mean that this is a sign or this is danger. They mean your system registered significance, and significance can come from fear or beauty or truth or memory or music. The body uses the same hardware for many different experiences, intuition included. So when fear is the activator, you'll often notice like a throat constriction or a shallow chest breathing, a tight jaw, cold or jagged sensations, or the urge to act immediately. That's the sympathetic nervous system activation. Your cortisol rises, adrenaline prepares you to move. Intuition, when it's not trauma trigger, often feels different. Not necessarily calm, but maybe just a little bit steadier. People often describe it as like an expansion in your chest or ribs, warmth instead of cold, or a grounded drop in the stomach that feels solid, not frantic. So it's kind of a clarity without panic. The key difference isn't the volume, it's the texture. Fear is going to feel urgent almost all the time. Intuition is going to feel inevitable. Intuition is going to allow space. And here's where this gets real. If you've had strong emotional experiences in the past, your body may react quickly to those familiar patterns. The amygdala, or what is the brain's threat detector, doesn't wait for full information. It's going to react to anything that's resembling, something that seems similar. Your body's going to activate. Your mind's going to create a story to justify that activation. And that's not weakness, that's efficient wiring, which is why slowing down matters. Because when you remove the story and just stay with the sensation, you can tell, is this sharp or escalating? Is it steady or is it informative? Is it contraction or is it orientation? So that boils down to excitement and fear feel very similar in the body. Both involve energy, both involve anticipation, both involve alertness. And if you weren't taught how to distinguish those sensations growing up, your system may default to fear whenever something feels intense. And it's not wrong. That doesn't mean you're anxious, though. And it doesn't mean your intuition is dangerous. It means your body is still learning how to stay present with heightened awareness without escalating. And that learning doesn't happen through interpretation, it happens through your steadiness. Here's a simple reframe that can help you align. The opposite of fear isn't calm, and it's not courage either. The opposite of fear is actually curiosity. Fear and curiosity are both responses to the unknown. Fear tightens and asks, am I safe? Curiosity opens and asks, what's happening here? You don't have to eliminate fear to access curiosity. You don't even have to like what you're feeling. You just have to soften your grip. Curiosity doesn't demand answers. It's going to create that space for you. And space is what allows your nervous system to regulate from where it's at. And it will take you out of that fear. And I want to give you a quick identifying polarity map, as most emotions have a regulating counterpart, not something that cancels them out necessarily, but something that restores that balance. So we've talked about fear. So fear is often going to soften into curiosity, anxiety to presence, overwhelm to orientation, urgency to choice. These aren't things you force, they're directions you can move towards if they're available. Sometimes even that small shift is going to be enough to create that balance. So let's move from understanding to practice. This is the try zone. The next time your body reacts quickly, whether it's chills or tightness or urgency or something just shifted feeling, I want you to pause. And before you label it, before you interpret it, just pause. The first question, what am I feeling physically right now? Not why, not what it means, not what I should do, just what's happening in my body. Is it tightness? Is it warmth? Is it pressure? Is it movement? Is it cold? Is it expanding? Name it and stop there. Now, if your system feels activated, like your throat's tight or your chest is shallow, breathing, we're going to give our nervous system a chance to settle. So this is where a 4-7-8 breathing comes in. It works on your parasympathetic system, and there are a lot of tools for that, but it's simple. So inhale through your nose for 4, hold it for 7, and exhale through your mouth for 8. You don't need to force it. You don't need to do 10 rounds. Even 3 cycles can begin shifting you out of the sympathetic activation, which is that fight or flight mode, and toward the parasympathetic recovery. The longer exhale is what matters. That extended 8 count signals safety to the body. It tells your nervous system, we're not in immediate danger. And once your body shifts, your perception will shift with it. Then you can ask, what's here without deciding anything? You're not suppressing the feeling, you're not inflating it. You're regulating first, then interpreting. That's the order. That's get yourself in a safe space. You don't owe every sensation a story, and you don't owe every reaction an interpretation. And you don't need to act just because something felt wrong. The body's going to speak first. Meaning comes later, or maybe not at all. And your system learns that it can stay present without escalating. Intuition is going to become clearer, not just louder. So if there's one thing I want you to take from today, it's this. Feeling something strongly doesn't mean that something is wrong. It often means that something is unfamiliar. And you're allowed to slow down, and you're allowed to stay human. And you're allowed to let that awareness settle before deciding what it means. And maybe most importantly, you're allowed to get curious before you decide what something means. Notice how you move this week. And I'll see you next time on More Than We See.